Yeah, I think, well, with domestic support, it might not necessarily be an issue at the start of your marriage. Newlyweds very easily help each other out. Like, what are we referring to in terms of domestic support? Like washing the dishes, helping with the cooking, the cleaning, washing your clothes, ironing, those sort of things. And I think newlyweds can easily help each other out there. This changes often when there are kids on the scene, when the kids arrive. So then this need changes, or this need becomes more important.
Or you're in a relationship for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there's other things that come up, for example, not necessarily just kids, but let's say you do decide, listen, I'm going to study part-time. Now you're finding yourself sitting in a class after work. Okay, so now somebody needs to still do the cooking. Okay, or am I going to sit and wait for you to finish your class, then you can start to cook? Things like that. So this need arises normally once a big change occurs within your home setup. It could be kids, it could be anything else. Okay, the one thing that I think needs to be highlighted is because normally, based on people's culture and the tradition of how people's marriages are set up, normally it's the woman that has this type of need from a husband. I think one of the important things is for men to realize is that when the woman normally has this kind of need, a lot of the times their solution is to throw money at it. Right? Okay, so I'm not saying you mustn't get a domestic to help with the cleaning and things like that. But I think, remember, it's also an emotional thing. It's also an emotional thing in terms of what is he doing for me? So sometimes, yes, they do want you to see you helping around the house in terms of cleaning, because you're not going to have a domestic
all the time,
24/7, right? That's the one thing. When I also say throw money at it, sometimes a female will communicate this, that she needs help around the house, right? Some men take that as I need to work harder and I need to earn more money, which is not the case in this situation. What she's saying is it's one of those moments where the female is actually saying what she's meaning.
The moments.
Yes. And it's one of those moments where a lot of the guys actually get it wrong. Because they, so they actually end up working harder and they end up giving her more money thinking that that's going to fix the issue. But that's not necessarily the case. And the other point I think I need to make is I'm not talking about things that gets fixed around the house. Like, oh, my cupboard door came loose. We're not referring to that being a form of domestic support. We're talking about day-to-day things that need to be done in the house, that we need a clean space. Fine, some days you have a domestic doing it. Other days, not. Who's going to do it then? That's the important thing. Those are important things I think that need to be highlighted.
And if it's an emotional need, right, and you take the time to actually help with cooking or help tidying up after dinner, right? You saying to your partner, I love you, and I am showing you or displaying this love by talking to your emotional need and fulfilling that need for you. So it's so interesting because it happens all the time. I mean, we see it all the time in our practice as well, is that men's solution is, okay, I'll pay for the maid. Let's just get a maid. I'll pay for the maid and our problems will be solved. Or very, very, very more often than not, I'll work my butt off so that my wife doesn't need to work so hard. But that's it's so confusing for a man to do that and then realize, but that still hasn't solved the problem. And that's purely because you haven't displayed to your partner that I'm here for you and I'm going to fulfill that need for you.